It has become pretty obvious to me that Alex Jones from InfoWars is being censored and that the establishment is coming out with both fists. It was in the front of the New York Times 2 days ago that Alex Jones's InfoWars was pulled from Apple, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, and Facebook simultaneously. Now, I feel even nervous talking about this because I'm trying to build and YouTube. I'm trying to build a YouTube program here, and I have reason to believe that I've already been shadow banned because my program is not growing as rapidly as one would reasonably expect. I'm not saying that you know I'm some kind of a super talk show host or anything like that, but it just doesn't look right. And so I feel nervous talking about this because I'm just small fry compared to Alex Jones of InfoWars. And if I was taken off the air, nobody would notice it. And that's what's troubling. But yet I feel like, if the fear is in this room, we have to talk. It's like Fred Friendly is alleged to have said when he was covering the story of Senator Joseph McCarthy. Of course, we could get into that. That's a separate subject. But the point is that that's what we're looking at right now. If the fear is in this room, then we have to go out and say something. So I am taking that risk with the hope that that I'll be able to continue here. Alex Jones, in the article in the New York Times, they say that he was taken off the air for two reasons. The first is the claim that he was inciting violence, and the second is that he was engaged in quote unquote hate speech. Now, it so happens that immediately after he was taken off the air, and this was a major subject of all the major media, and all the major talk shows, he continued to broadcast on his app, Apple app, and he almost tripled his audience, more than tripled it. He went to 5 million people. So that shows that they can't exactly censor someone completely. And let me turn up the volume here. I'm just getting a request. Okay, I've got my volumes going full steam ahead. I hope that's better. He can't be censored completely. That his program is doubling and tripling on his own website. So I hadn't listened to Alex Jones for many years personally. Years ago, I interviewed him on a show that I did back probably over 10 years ago. And at that time, I was very hard on him. I was like, how could you prove this? How could you prove that? Looking back at it, I regret that. In fact, it was one of the bigger mistakes I've made because he was doing in fact, he was doing what I would have liked to have been doing, which is exposing the unspoken, uninvestigated side of the news and of news stories that sometimes can get a little weird, but that's what freedom of speech is all about. That's what I believe in. And that being freedom of speech. I'm not saying I agree with everything he does, but that's beside the point. The point is that I hadn't listened to him in many years. And the fact of the matter, I hope that's better. The fact of the matter is that since he was banned, I have downloaded the app, and I recommend you all do that on Apple, on my Android phone. And I've been listening in the car, and he's tremendous, by the way. But this morning I was listening, and suddenly it was cut off. And he was saying that they're coming after him still. I mean, now Fox News has come out against him. Everyone is lining up and attacking him and trying to get him off the air. And so it went off. So I immediately went to his website and clicked on that, and I was able to get him there. But I'm really concerned about this. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be able to continue. They're after him with everything they have. They're trying to suppress him. They're trying to take him off the air. And that's wrong. I want to talk a little bit about the allegations. First of all, the allegation that he's inciting violence. I don't know about that. I highly doubt it. I just don't. I'd like to see evidence of that. Inciting violence. I mean, Facebook has page after page of Antifa without even letting them identify themselves. And they are openly, proudly, and unabashedly not only advocating violence, but in conducting violence in major cities. That's what they're about. They're a terrorist group. So, I mean, Alex Jones, I don't think so. I mean, if he is, I'd like to see evidence. Please send it to me. As far as hate speech is concerned, no. Hate speech is something that you find in a communist country. That's a political term. That's just a way of that's another word for saying we don't like what you're saying politically. So we're going to claim that it's, quote, hateful or hate. You can look at the mainstream media if you want to see incitement and hateful attitudes toward Christians and toward others. So no, I reject the term. In communist China still, people are indicted and imprisoned for quote unquote hate speech because the government decides what is permitted for speech and what isn't. And there's no place for that in this country. We shouldn't have hate speech. I mean, if someone commits a crime of violence and they have hatred toward the victim based upon their race, their creed, whatever it may be, then that is important and legitimate evidence to go toward conviction and should be brought up at that time. That's appropriate. But to simply declare something as a matter of public policy that this is going to be called hate speech and it's going to be banned, that's troubling. That shouldn't happen. And that's exactly what they're trying to do to Alex Jones. I haven't seen evidence of hate speech. I've seen some tough criticism. I've seen some rather vulgar comments there. I mean, we could take a listen to Stephanie Miller on progressive radio if you want to hear vulgar. And that's her right. She's actually quite funny, even if I don't like her political opinion, but very vulgar, very mean, and generally at times could be described as hateful. Fine, free speech, even though she's attacking Jones now, which is interesting. But the general specifics that they get into with Alex Jones is his coverage of major events from a conspiratorial standpoint. He takes a look specifically at the Sandy Hook shooting, the school shooting, but he's also commented on the Parkland shooting and on the attack on 9/11, I believe, and on the shooting in Las Vegas and other events of like nature. And he sees a conspiratorial element to it. He thinks that it's somehow being set up. Or maybe it didn't even happen. I mean, now look, he accused people of being actors. Now, I don't happen to agree with that. Of course, I'm not in a position to know either way. I go by the same regular news sources that everyone else goes by, and I generally accept those as true. But the fact is that aren't we supposed to have a media and a means of communication that permits looking at these things in a way that might be a little alternative, that might be not be received wisdom? If he wants to think these things are staged, so what? Let him say it. Let him prove it. Let's debate it in the open square. Why is that something that has to be banned? That's not hateful. He's not hating anyone by doing that. He's simply questioning the validity of the mainstream reporting. To me, that's what the press is supposed to be all about. Are we supposed to just sit back and be spoon-fed whatever the establishment tells us it happened? I mean, again, I'm not part of this questioning. I'm not in a position to do that. But I will fight, I suppose, for the right of my fellow citizens to do that if they choose. That is called free speech. That is called alternative inquiry. We don't have a official received opinion in this country, nor should we. So, if he wants to say that there's something more to the shootings going on in high schools or anything else, that's his right. And if we believe in free speech, We ought to defend that right. I do defend it. And I'm very concerned that we're losing it. This is a war against free speech, the attack on Alex Jones. This is an attempt to take anyone down who doesn't genuflect to the official version of events and the official point of view. This also has everything to do, in my opinion, with the upcoming midterm election and with the general election, because Alex Jones, with his huge following, played a significant role in electing President Trump. And that is a cardinal sin for the establishment, who is outright at war with the president. So whether you agree with Alex Jones or not, whether you agree with President Trump or not, we ought to have enough confidence as allegedly free people to have a vigorous, open, and at times ribald debate in the public square on these and any other issues. And the threat to Alex Jones is a threat to every single American. It's something that we cannot let stand, and it's not going to stand, because Alex Jones is fighting back, and it's becoming an international story. So what I would suggest to you, the listener, to the degree I have any, is wake up. Whether you're liberal or conservative, this could be you. You could be next. You know, when they come for him, you're going to say, so what is it, like Niemöller said, I wasn't a conspiracy theorist. But when they come for you, there won't be anyone left. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody.